Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing well. I thought I'd talk to you while I'm rolling my cigarettes and kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. Sorry, birds. Um, yeah, I thought I'd talk about what I know best, which is narcissists. So, yeah. Oh, I was thinking about, when they give you something, that's um, like they'll give it to you and they're like angels when they give you something. But and excuse my head being down, I got to see what I'm doing. But um, yeah, they act like angels, but then it's never free. You'll always pay for it in a sense because when they give it to you like an angel, they'll punish you like a demon for accepting it, if you see what I mean. And of course, they want you to accept it. So I just thought I'd kind of touch on that. I've known for a long time, so I'm very, very careful what I take from other people and why. And I don't ever really take anything unless I'm doing something in return because I don't want to owe anybody anything, that type of thing. So yeah, I'm extremely careful in that area. I was watching a guy speaking about narcissists, and he's been through it, and I don't know his name right now, and I'll get back with you with that. And he was talking about name calling, how they like to um, whoops, a little loud. Okay, let's see. They like to, well, when they do call you something, it's usually not outright name calling. They'll make it sound like it's almost endearing at times, too. Like, say, if a person's, if they know that it bothers you if you're like a little bit overweight or something, they know it bothers you. That is exactly, they'll say, oh, say if it were me, and he'd say, "Oh, chubby, my love." And then I'm just kidding. Not that he would dare say something like that to me like that, but I'm just saying I've heard this shit in my life. The way it or it's really subtle. It'll be put like a joke, that type of thing, and then oh, I'm just kidding, and they're not. You know what they're doing is for the uh, going to the bone, trying to get your they look for your vulnerabilities and then they play on that is what I'm getting at. So yeah. So oh and they love to do it in public. I'll give you an example. Of course, if I had like a size 6 foot and I'm 5'9", I would look awfully weird. And my legs are 36 inches long. So when Doug built this one vehicle, he extended the firewall, he extended out to um, fit the length of my legs because it's a little tiny truck. Well, I was buying a bale ring to put my horse's hay in one time, and in front of this other woman, Doug said, and I asked him not to say this anymore to me, but he said in front of her, talking about his truck and that he had to fit it for my long feet. Well, he knows that bothers me. Well, um, yeah, I have good understanding of exactly what he was doing. Of course, he was trying to hurt my feelings, but that's what they'll do. They'll wait till there's an audience, and now I will say something. When that happened to me, oh, it's quite some time ago, and I wasn't going to embarrass myself or this woman, and she wouldn't have cared anyway, that type of lady. So it's like, well, lady, I don't know, person, person. So yeah, they love to say something in public if they can get away with it. So, but he don't have to worry about my long feet and his stupid little truck no more. That's the way I feel about it. He can't even pay me to get in that thing. So yeah, I don't give a shit. But um, they do look for things that will hurt you. You know, um, and that's what they'll go with. And if they know, and even if you ask them not to do it again and they promise they won't, they will. Unless you probably I've actually threatened him with physical harm. Like, I'm gonna f you up. Keep saying say it one more time in front of a woman and try to embarrass me and see what happens to you. Well, I don't know if I would or not, but just just the threat of that alone. See, they act like they're brave when they're picking on you, but if you stand up, it's like, a few weeks ago he stood up and it's like, oh, really? He acted like he was going to do something. I said, go right ahead. I said, I'm going to wipe you the F all over this house and then I'm going to call the cops. Well, just the threat of it. But, because he thinks just because my kid's dad used to beat me quite severely. So he thinks just because, and Doug did try smacking me once. He slapped me and he jumped on me and almost broke my ribs another time. But I did go and report him to a shelter. He smacked one of my kids too, and he hit him in the head with a tennis shoe, and he ended up in jail that night. So, but yeah, I won't put up with that type of crap. But I don't want to feel forced to leave my home either because I help pay for this place. So, that I getting back on track to the situation of how they'll look for your vulnerabilities and what hurts you most or what you may feel a little insecure about, and they'll go with that. That's exactly what they want. That's, so yeah, I thought I'd just make a video a little earlier today because, well, I have an audience in my house right now. So I thought I'll just close my door and make a video, and I don't really care. It's not like I say, whatever I put out here is available for anybody to see, and whatever I say, I would say to somebody's face anyway, so I don't really care. But just working on things that how I work things through things and deal with things like that is to detach emotionally as much as I possibly can. That's really the best way to do things is to realize that on a daily basis, people like this, Satanists that they are put here just to try and make us believe that there is no God. That's their ulterior motive. So, which makes me think of that Richard and that Sam live interview that I watched, and I seen they were on again today, and I listened to a little bit of how Sam was going into, he was talking about religion yesterday, and then he was talking about the genders and how they could even make up like a third one, and I turned it off. I'm like, okay, dude, I'm done. And with that Richard, I had granted, I had recommended him. I'm second guessing myself now. It depends on, I seen he was almost going to be like taking notes, but see with these people too, and they're studying their psychology and their psychiatry and whatnot, not only was I raised around this bullcrap, but I was reading psychology books from 1942 that they still use now when I was a child. I was learning the psychology of what the Masons use against everybody and learning their tactics and that type of thing for myself. So there's really nothing, I could write a book. There really is nothing that they're saying that is surprising or anything that they're saying that's actually going to help me. If they had been attacked themselves, it really kind of is more like it's comforting to know that they had worked themselves out of it and how they did it. which is pretty much how anybody would do it. You pretty much have to leave that alone and distance yourself from it as far as you can get emotionally. If you can't physically, at least emotionally tell yourself that you know this is the way this person is. And if they resort, yeah, that's a good one. New word. Yeah. If they resort to like name calling or embarrassing you or something, it's like a childhood playground tactic. But the thing is, it's coming out of an adult, and that's what makes it worse because, um, and then if you grew up and you had narcissist parents, and they were name callers, which mine were, um, that's something that really literally, and I'm sure a lot of you went through that too, like, oh, dummy this, dummy that, and whatever, you know, these people feel so insecure about themselves, and they were probably raised the same way too, that the only words they can think to say to their child when they're frustrated is something demeaning, and you won't normally, unless they want something, you'll never get a compliment or um, any not a close bond. You'll never have a close bond with a narcissist parent or spouse for that matter. It's impossible for their child inside themselves that they don't want to grow up, and Satan's got his thumb on their head, keeping them down. And it's just like being around a child, but it makes it worse because they're not children. So yeah. Uh, I'll get back to that too, but I'll just tell you it was such a beautiful day today. Wonderful. Um, I was out talking to my horse and my chicken, and yeah, watching a little red squirrel eat. I call it avocado, eaten out of the bird feeder. The reason I call it avocado is because I gave it avocados one year, and it actually put an avocado on the tire of a car, like going to share with me. And they were so friendly. Doug was sitting out in a lawn chair, and they came up and they were just like they were babies, and they were trying to like climb up his pant leg and everything. So I have one that lives right outside my window and can look in and see me all the time, and that's the one I call avocado. Anyway, so very cute little red ones, tiny. I got gray ones too, but yeah, I raised a gray squirrel that was blind, partially blind, so fluffy. So yeah, I love squirrels. They're very kitty like, but a little, mm, almost a little nicer than a cat, actually. You know, so that's real. So yeah, but anyway, it's a little cloudy out now. Was very sunny today, but I see it's all gooed over with their chem snot. I see yesterday Doug come in and said there was two low flying planes that were spraying chemtrails, and then he was talking about how in Virginia, and you don't really hear it on the news, but a plane was shot down by some of the locals that were, or grounded anyway. They brought it down, that was spraying that crap. And he said, wouldn't it be legal for me to shoot it out of the sky? I said, well, they're trying to kill us. It would be called self defense, I would guess, but I wouldn't suggest it. But yeah, then you'd actually be murdering somebody. Well, they are. They don't seem to care, but see, I don't get worried about that type of stuff, and it doesn't really even bother me. The stuff that they say they're doing to us in this world, I know God's going to fix everything. I have every faith. But one thing that I differ than other people is they think that everybody's going to be okay, and in a sense they're going to, but there are some people walking around that are soulless. I mean, they have no soul. Are they real human beings biologically? um, are they a part of the soul? No, they're not. So that's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. So I've met these people. I've met people that would kill you and not care. You know, these aren't people that you know. And then I'm gonna go into one other area too. Um, these human trafficking rings and uh, slavery still that's going on in our world. Um, People that are making money off of another human being. These narcissists love to see people suffer. There is no um, two ways about that. But um, it's child degradation. If you think about a little baby suffering every day, if you think about it, that probably every 40 seconds on this planet or somewhere thereabouts, a little baby screaming because it's being tortured and raped. If you look at it like that, kind of brings things into perspective. It kind of brings things to the reality that these people aren't pretending. They actually make money off of other people's suffering, you know. So I'm sure there's a lot of you that I'm talking to that have been abused when you were kids. And you were being primed to do it to your children, to pass this filth on, to make it acceptable in our society. So you'd either be scared, or you'd be a part of it, or you'd just ignore it, that type of thing. So, and I see it as a very big deal. It's an ongoing thing. I was going to shut them off. My apologies, everybody. Sorry. Um, yeah, it's a reality, you know, in our world, you know. So these people that are on the side of the bad guys aren't just passively sitting there thinking, well, this goes on, but I'm not a part of it. They know full well they are, you know. If you're not on the side of the good guys, you're on the side of the bad guys. You know, there is no in between. So that's true. Yeah, but I think about this a lot. I think of, not just what happened to me in my life, but it's still happening. It's happening every day, every single day. You know, I think everybody's going to be pretty surprised when the truth about the monsters in Hollywood truly comes out and what they actually do. You know, I mean, yeah, there's shows like Call for an Uprising. He is really good at telling the facts, but the thing is, the fact is, this is what gets me is you've got so many movies out that makes like vampirism and cannibalism and that type of thing, like The Walking Dead and whatnot, makes these things look like fairy tales. It makes them look like they're not true, so people aren't going to really believe it. But I guess unless you've actually had it happen to you, or people like that would actually bite you and enjoy it. Um, unless you've actually been involved or around these type of people that would say they're related to Liver Eaton Johnson and that's their mindset, you know. Um, unless you've actually been around it, I guess you wouldn't believe it. So it's a hard thing to believe. You know, it's a hard thing to believe that somebody would actually um, hurt a little baby or another adult for that matter at all. But they do daily, and we feel it. It comes right into our bodies. You feel sick when you're gonna wonder why. Um, don't wonder. You know, the sicknesses you feel, we're connected to everybody. You're feeling the pain. I don't know what we're going to do about it or how it's going to go down, but I have faith that God will stop it. But people got to realize that it isn't fake. You know, these people do not care about, especially Christians. Oh, I'll go into another thing. Call for Uprising had a video about new um, Christianity, like new wave Christianity type things that have like prayer circles, in the circles indicating the circle of protection for witchcraft and Satanism and that type of thing. And he's right on with that. He is absolutely right on. And it's a good program. You might want to watch it. So, but anyway, so yeah, I know I dissed them on the peace sign thing, but I was just making it apparent that when I say peace, you know, and then it does insult me that they would turn it around and use it as a symbol. There's a lot of symbols that were um, not meant to be evil that they adopted into their society and made it look like it was theirs. So something that actually was harmless and for your everyday average Joe ended up being more of a Satanistic thing. So they turn everything that is good against us, you know. But I'm not saying that everybody that is a Satanist is a cannibal or a vampire. I'm just saying there are part of them organizations that are. There's, well, okay, I'll just like, just say if you, I'm just going to use a lodge for an example. Say if there's one person in a lodge, and I've said this before, but one might be a pedophile, the other one might be a biter, the other one might be a thief, or love masochism, or you know, that type of thing, and they keep their secrets for each other. That's what the sworn oath is to keep their secrets. um, some secrets shouldn't be kept though. There's some of this stuff that needs to come out in the public eye, because anytime something is kept hidden and it's of God, especially if it's of God, and we're hiding it from each other, what's the purpose? Well, there's these people that literally read the scriptures in such a way that you would never even catch the truth, and that's their ulterior motive, you know. And I don't see these people getting very far through the golden gates. That's just my pearly gates, rather. Just my outlook on that. So, anyway, maybe else with the call for an uprising. Nah, he does have a good show. There's no doubt. I mean, what he's saying, is very truthful. To the best of my knowledge, it is. So, um, but like I say, just because one person in a lodge is a ghoul and the other person isn't, doesn't mean that this stuff isn't true. You know, it's pretty sad, but it's true. Um, oh, it goes back to like Lionel Nation. His wife Lynn works with women that have been human trafficked and had been children, and the stories and the things that these people have been through. You know, and if you actually were a victim of the Masons, you'd believe me. You would have no reason to doubt that. Um, if you weren't a direct victim, you were definitely primed to be one, or your children were. You know, they love to keep it all in the family, so to speak. No, they like to keep their slaves under control so they can do what they want with them. Unless that slave's really dangerous and you're afraid. That might make it a little different, you know. But yeah. But anyway, let's see what else is going on. Oh, got a really nice picture of my youngest son and his intended, and they look good. They're strong and healthy and looking good. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, my friend in the UK, Kim's gonna be a grandmother. Congratulations, Kim. That's what I should have wrote. What a dork I am. My apologies. Congratulations. I'll certainly tell you in September when that baby's born. I wonder if it's gonna be a redhead. That'd be cool. Little Kim. So cool. Yeah. I never had the pleasure of holding one of my grandchildren until, well, the one was, let's see, 2 months old was the only and first time that I got to actually hug one of my grandchildren. So, yeah, I let the mom sleep and went and visited and let her sleep and took care of the baby in the night and everything. And Joya. Yeah, that was fun. Really nice. It was kind of a hard time and really a weird time. Um, but that's another story. But it was good seeing the baby. Oh my God. Oh, that story is probably, you might have heard it from another video of mine, but maybe another day I'll tell you the whole thing again. It was a trip, literally. But, yeah. Oh, let's see what else is going on. Oh, oh yeah, I was gonna play some music yesterday, like 6 different times. I turned on my recorder, I was gonna play guitar karaoke, turned on my music, sat down to play. That's a really weird reflection in there. If you guys look, it looks like somebody's looking at me in the ether. It really does. It's should be spooky. Should I flip it off? You guys will see that. I'm not kidding. I know I see it. You'll see it. It's smoke in my room. Things can be used. That's yeah. Anyway, am I saying things? Maybe. So I went to sit down and play, and then the video would quit. And so I tried it like 6 times, and I kept turning on the camera, turning it off, cleaning it up, and going back and trying it again. It's like, okay, this is getting old. Forget it. Because just like right now, I'm loading music. I got some royalty free music here that was supposed to be loading. It didn't load. Oh well. I thought if I put some music on it with some upbeat stuff on my TV, I got an app for it. So yeah. Oh yeah. HughesNet is like really a funky um, internet service provider. They're I don't like them, but that's the way it is. Nothing we can do right now, and we've got their satellite dish out there unless we find a better service. So, being out in the country, it's hard to get. It's not like I can just get, like a cable run into the house or nothing. So, although we do have all the fiber optics up to our house, have had for about, oh geez, I bet 15 years now. But they have to connect the rest of it from the streets coming in, and they haven't done that yet. And even back when Obama was president, he said by 2018, or what was it? By 2018, the whole country will be connected with high-speed internet. Well, that was a lie. It's not here. So, yeah, and it was a lie. It's just like, I hate dissing on presidents. I always wish them the best because these things are in the position of leading our lives and making an example out of themselves for the rest of the world, you know. But President Trump told us that Hillary Clinton was going to be in jail. He ran on the premise that that hose bag was going to be jailed for laundering money. And well, he didn't exactly say what exactly. And that foundation, the Clinton Foundation, got caught laundering money, and the same people that were doing that over in London were human trafficking. So these things are real. I mean, you wouldn't really give a shit unless one of your little babies was playing out in the yard and they snagged it and threw it in a van and drove off. You could be just turn your back, take a sip of your lemonade, and oop, baby's gone. Where'd baby go? Baby's getting raped tonight by some dude that wants to give somebody $1 million to have somebody that's never been touched by human hands, or other parts of them, you know. So when you think in things in terms like that, because I went looking around one time, a whole town, looking for this woman's baby with her. I've been through this crap a couple different times in my life, and these things are real. I'm telling you, they're real. It happens. So, and then you see these kids that they're walking by themselves. I seen a video of in Philadelphia, a guy is driving, talking on his video, and seen two little girls in little pink jackets walking by themselves. They must have been like about 8 or 9, or they looked like twins. I thought, well, yeah, I could see where kids have walked to school and they'll walk to school together, but them kids are too young to be out there by themselves. In our state, it's 12 years old. You can't leave your children unattended unless there's somebody watching them. So 12 is the limit here. So, but and even then, the first time I let my oldest one watch my youngest, and I had actually went to a car show and called to see how they were doing before I came home. And my oldest was making Indian fry bread, which was one of his favorite things. But with the hot oil and the deep fryer and everything, I totally freaked out. And he's like, "Don't worry, it'll be ready. I got some when you get home." And I'm like, I don't really like it all that much, but I used to make it. But it's like a donut or whatever. But yeah, I freaked out a little bit because what I mean, I taught my kids how to cook, but still something could have happened. So I don't know. I was just lucky it didn't. And I know he's really careful and everything, but still 12 years old and using a deep fryer and mom ain't there, that totally flipped me out. And I never dreamed in a million years that that would happen, but it did. So, yeah. But I was kind of proud of him. It's like, dang, yeah, it turned out really good too, pretty good. Oh my God. I mean, I didn't really chew him out or anything. I was just scared, for him. Mostly when they were little, I would be more afraid with my little guy around if the big guy was cooking because the little guy was more radical. And, like, well, I'm going to tell it like it is. If you're watching Sunshine, sorry, this is it. My little one was more, oh, and I used to be like that too. What's the word? Not just radical, but no, that's not it. It was like my critical thinking skills weren't exactly in tone. I was more like spur of the moment, you know what I mean? Like doing things without thinking first. I forget what they say that is, but the term for it. But yeah, I had issues in that area big time when I was little, you know. So yeah, forethought, thinking about stuff ahead of time, or in the moment. We're like, it's like driving. If you see that it's snowing and you know that there might be icy roads or something, or a stop sign and you're able to stop for it. Well, I suppose that's why children don't drive, because I wouldn't have probably stopped, you know. you know, I don't know if that explains it somewhat, but anyway. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. Okay, so I don't think this woman ended up liking me very much because I told her how to activate her armor of God when she was being a target, and she was talking about like her privates being attacked and blah blah blah, and laying on the bed and wrenching and crying, and it's like, okay, I've been there, but I don't need to film something like that. I could like tell you what happened and like spiritually attacked or whatever, and how I work through it or how I protect myself and calling on God right that second instead of crying into a camera, and she didn't like that. But I'll tell you what happened when I was talking on the phone with this woman. If you're watching, it is what it is. So she asked me to pray for her, and she said, well, with her. And she said, maybe we could do like studying the Bible together. And I'm thinking, well, I'm really leery on who I study with, listen to, or even in a matter of speaking, speak to about God, because what I say may not be how they're feeling or whatever, whatever. I'm not going to, I say, debate schematics, because to me, when you have a schematic, a scheme, a game plan, and I know what God put in my heart, that's what He put in my heart. Maybe it's just whatever. Maybe my knowledge will increase, but I'm pretty sure that all the decades I've been thinking the way I've been thinking is probably pretty much the way it is. But, anyway, plus all the training I had just for these end times like that. And I mean by end times, I mean by the end of everybody's bullshit times. So, okay, so I said a prayer for her, with her, more for her. At the end of it, I said, in the name of Jesus Christ. I don't say amen because that means end a man. And that's exactly what it was written to me. Or amen or amen. And so, and it can be used at a funeral. It can be used at a wedding because it's the end of the man and it's the combining of the two people. But it's not appropriate at the end of prayer. So that's just okay. But that's a whole nother story. So these people out there writing amen, which after I've been chewing them out for about over 10 years now online or more on this issue, a lot of them have quit that crap, and they used to do it on purpose just to try and get at me. And it's like, okay, it's your lack of knowledge situation. Don't lay it on me. You want to be ignorant, be ignorant. That's your issue. So so at the end of it, I said that, and as I said those words, in the name of Jesus Christ, she repeated, name of Jesus Christ. She says, that's how you end that? And I'm thinking, and then I said, yeah, that's how I end it. When I'm praying out loud to somebody, when I'm talking to God, I'm talking to God. And I'll thank Him, if I'm talking to Christ, which I personally don't call on Him a whole bunch because He's kind of a busy individual. And the people that are of that, everybody's got a lot of weights on their brains, but and hearts. But so I don't really ask a lot. But I do have one, like in particular, my friends that are injured, and I have a lady that struggles with weight issues, and I told her I've so been there. I said, I just want you to know that I've been praying for you, and I really do, because it seems like ever since she got married too, it just got worse, because her husband's sort of a big guy too, and I'm not blaming him, but I just know, and I just have a feeling he's sort of like a player and a narcissist. And I just got this instinct thing going on because I've been talking to this woman for, well, I'll give you, for instance, before I shut this down. I met her on an online prayer probably about, well, it was, I think, 2011. So, or 2011 rather. So anyway, and then we became friends on Facebook. And this woman she was the only one out of hundreds and thousands of people that I talked to that ever prayed for my kids. Just, and she didn't even have any children. She wants children, but she can't have them, or I don't know, hasn't had them. And now she's getting older, and she has little dogs that she raises. But yeah, the only person out of all these people in this prayer group, which was crazy as can be, that this one person, and I don't know. It's just, well, it's a little even crazier because she's a woman of color, and her society like would be like dissing on me and all that shit. And the white people would want me to be like dissing on her. So the odds of us, and there's some other things that oddities, but the odds of us becoming friends was more like a miracle than just about anything. So I don't know. Just a little story there. She's such a just adorable lady. So she, even times when she can get a little mean, but she's not really mean. Not like I can be mean. And she's put up with my meanness. I used to write something like, "Why don't all you Illuminatis just die, drop dead right now?" It's like she's been through all this with me and put up with me the whole time, and I love her for it. She's pretty cool. So you guys would like her. You ladies and gentlemen would like her. So All right, everybody, I'm going to let you go. I'll say peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Thank you for joining me, and have a good day or night or wherever you're at. Hope you got sunshine. Peace. Later, everybody.